not time for another wrap up. I feel like this year's already flying by. We're already in February, and I have not recorded my wrap up from December or January. Shame on me. But instead of doing a full December wrap up, because I don't have that much time, y'all know I'm a new parent. So while she's napping, I'm trying to record this. I'm going to hit the highlights of what I think was important in December, and then we're going to jump into January. In December, I did meet my reading goal of 100 books. I actually read 106, and we read 10 in December. And in January, we actually read 20 books. Now, I will say this year's goal is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try to read 100 books. I was still on maternity leave for January, so I read like a good amount of books. And I'm reading okay in February so far, but my goal is to read 100 books for myself, audiobooks, KU books, whatever, mostly physical books. And then I would love to read 50 books to my child. It's not going to be 50 different books. It's just going to be, I want to read to her at least 50 books throughout the year. Or at least 50 times. Not 50 times. 50 times doesn't sound like a lot. Whatever. I want to read to her 50 books. So I'm going to be keeping track of how much I'm reading to her and on top of how much I'm reading for myself. So my reading goal is going to be a little skewed. If you follow me on Goodreads, I am trying to keep track of what books I'm reading to her, so I'm not reading the same books all the time. And I'm also like constantly buying her books because I want to build up her little mini bookshelf. So I should have around like 150 books by the end of the year. I'm not too crazy about my goal. If I meet it, okay. I'm more so wanting to read to her. And during the summer, we're going to start going to the library. It's not going to be just buying books for her because, again, I'm trying to be, cautious of what I'm spending my money on. But I'm going to start taking her to the library during the summer. Or once it starts getting a little bit warmer, it's still snowing. So that's going to open up her TBR a little bit more. And I'm excited to get her a library card. I don't know how old you have to be, but I want to get her one as soon as possible. But either way, that's just a brief explanation. I'm not going to ever probably talk about her books unless we're doing a haul. But if you would like to see a video on children's books or what I'm reading to her, let me know. And of course, I'll do it. Let's go ahead and get into this wrap up. So the first books that I would love to hit on for December were obviously 2 Christmas books. I had a Christmas TBR of books that I intended on reading. And you know how it goes. Of course, I didn't get to them. But I did get to one of them on my physical TBR, and I'm pretty excited about it because it was pretty good. And I definitely feel like it helped me get like more into reading Christmas books because I did read some Christmas books. It just wasn't the ones I was supposed to read from my TBR. Whatever. So the first book that I read in December that was on my TBR was Merry Xmas by Courtney Walsh. And then I read a book on my Kindle that my friends suggested called The Plight Before Christmas. Now, little did I know they were very similar. I rated this book 4 stars. Yes, 4 stars. But The Plight, I rated 5 stars. However, I would read both of them if you're into like a cute rom-com book. Like both of these, I definitely suggest. So this book is about a girl who is very interested in getting a TV show. And on her show, she's always talking about her family, how much they enjoy Christmas. She's always hyping up, the Christmas feels around her family. So they are like, oh, well, let's go ahead and just film like a little special surrounding you and your family and having you go down to your family's house for Christmas. Mind you, she hasn't been there in years. So when she pops up, she knocks on the door and she's so excited. She's like, oh, I'm about to get this TV special, blah, blah, blah. Like she's remembering all these great things about her family. And her ex opens the door, because he's been spending Christmas with her family for all these years and she didn't know. And so next thing you know, he's going to be a part of the special. And obviously, you know where it goes from there. Like, it was so cute, so funny. It was very enjoyable. It's not that long. It's almost 300 pages. Or it is 300 pages, but it doesn't feel that long, like big text. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was a very cute read. You know, she's trying to find herself. He's trying to find himself. There is a little bit of grief in here, so if that's a trigger warning for you. But I found out that a lot of these Christmas books have a lot to do with, like, death and grief. I don't know, but for some reason that was a heavy topic. But like I said, I read this book, and then right after that book, unknowingly, I'm just creating havoc over here, child. Unknowingly, I read The Play Before Christmas. This was on Kindle Unlimited, but 5 stars. That was my first book that I read from that author. I know she wrote, what is it, the Raven series? Whatever that series is, I'll put it up here. And that's her more popular series, but y'all, I haven't read that series, but if she wrote more stuff like this, like cute little rom-com stuff, I'd be all for it. So The Polite is, I'm just gonna call it that because I don't feel like saying that whole like name. Oh my gosh, cutest book. I mean, best Christmas book that I think that I have read. It's about this girl who is just down on her luck. I mean, she is just not happy with the way her life is. She needs a reset. She's excited to go to her family's house for Christmas. It's an amazing family. She always feels amazing when she's with them, so she's excited. Her car breaks down when she get there. It's a bad time, but she's like, you know what, it doesn't even matter because I'm around my family. And then her brother pulls up. He brought a friend with him to spend the holidays because his friend is a little down bad right now. And it happens to be her ex from college, the ex that just broke her heart and just made every guy after that just, I mean, y'all. I don't even want to say anything else because I feel like you need to go in blind like I did. It was such a good book. But what makes Plight better than this book, I feel like, is just like every single character, you want to know more about them. They're so funny. I mean, I was kicking my feet, laughing, all the things, and I wanted to know about every single relationship in that household. Now, she wrote a sequel right after I finished that, but I didn't have a chance to get into it, and it's still on my Kindle. I just haven't gotten a chance to read it, but I'm almost thinking about saving it, you know, for either later in the year or closer to Christmas because it was that good. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that book and you need a good Christmas book, you need to check out that book. It's just so cute, so good. A little bit of spice, a little bit of angst. I mean, he's working to just get her back in his good graces. It's a good time. You definitely need to check it out. Another book that I read in December that I wanted to tell you all about was Annie Bot. Now, Annie Bot was a book that I got from Book of the Month, and I kept hearing people talk about it, and I was just so intrigued. And this book is definitely a book I wouldn't have picked up if I wasn't on Book of the Month, but I'm so happy that I did. It was very, very short. I read it in less than 24 hours just because it was so intriguing to me. If you aren't familiar with this book, it's a book about this girl named Annie who was basically created to be a perfect girlfriend, right? And her owner, Doug, I had to look up his name because I couldn't remember. I just don't know how I feel about him. This book is basically about, to me, this robot being abused. I mean, y'all. This robot is in a toxic relationship and she just don't even know it. I mean, I guess she wouldn't know it because she's a robot. But it's about manipulation. It's about abuse. And the ending, I'm not going to give it away because some people may want to read it, but I was not happy with it. So that's why I rated it 3 stars. I thought it was a great concept, but I almost want to spoil it, but I just don't want to. If you want me to do an in-depth video about this book, I will, because it is so unhinged and crazy. I definitely can see why everybody was reading it. It's so outlandish and it's so out there. And it is a good book, but that ending needed to be changed because I was just not satisfied. Either way, 3 stars. It kept me engaged. It kept me reading, and I'm glad that I picked it up. Like, this is kind of why I have Book of the Month, because it makes me, you know, go out of the box. But this one, I wasn't prepared for it, y'all. It was crazy. It was I don't even know what you would call it. Like a thriller? Like, not really. Like, I don't even know what kind of book this is. Contemporary? Like, I don't know. It was outlandish. It was crazy, but it's pink and it's cute. But I don't know if I'd ever read it again because the ending made me mad. Now, the last book that I want to bring to your attention is the memoir More. Now, I know people don't rate memoirs, but I do, because to me, in order for it to be a good memoir, you have to keep me engaged. Now, I will say that I typically listen to memoirs on Libby, so that's what I did for this one. And this book was about basically a woman's experience in an open marriage. And man, when I tell you, I thought that this book was unhinged. No, that book was unhinged. Don't listen to it around anybody because it's a lot of steam going on, a lot of little sexing. But y'all, I rated 3 stars and then I bumped it up to 4 because it lives rent-free in my head. Because I can't believe that someone lived this life, and I can't believe that she told this story. And I'm not judging because I feel like you can't really judge memoirs because it is their life. But y'all need to read that book. If you want me to do an in-depth video about that book too, I could do an in-depth. And I'm thinking, y'all let me know if you want this. I was thinking about doing a WTF book video. Because I think those are the books that really hit me the hardest. The books where I'm like, what am I listening to? Keep going. Give me more of that. Those are the books that are the best. But anyway, More, it's a memoir. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it because you have to listen to it and listen to the manipulation tactics that her husband, you know, used to have her continue being in this open marriage. And I mean, it's a good listen because it keeps you going. It keeps you engaged. If you're looking for a book where you can just listen while you're clean, I finished that in less than 24 hours too. But if you're looking for a book that you're just cleaning or doing laundry or in the car and you need to stay awake or something, that's the book for you. Because you ain't going to turn it off because you're going to be like, where is this going next? Crazy. Next up, we're going to talk about all of our December reads. I am going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to do from 2-star up, so like lowest ratings to highest ratings, to save the good stuff for the end. But the first book we're going to talk about, again, we're trying to get books off our physical TBR. This book I've had for a while, I think a little bit over a year, and I will say I was hitting a slump, so it might not have been the best time to pick it up, but I was feeling intrigued when it came to memoirs, especially coming off of the memoir More. So I did read this book. This book is a memoir of a prostitute's daughter. I DNF'd it. I could not get into it, man. Again, I am someone who listens to memoirs on audiobooks, so I don't know if that made a difference. I don't know if I've ever read a physical memoir, but I am this year because I bought 2 of them. So I did, to be fair, I did not rate this book, just because I DNF'd it. I just could not get into it. I think I got like 20-something% in. I just couldn't do it. After reading such great books, I just hit a slump and I couldn't get into it. So yeah, unfortunately, I did have a DNF this month, but this year, we're going to be DNFing a bunch of books. I have so many books to read. If I don't enjoy it, it's got to go. So, yes, first DNF of the year, but it wasn't the only one. Y'all know how I feel about this series, and I'm done with it. This series has, like, I think 20-something books, and what number is this? I hate how they don't have the numbers. This is number 5, and this is where my journey ends here. I don't even have nothing to say about it. I can't do it. I can't deal with it. This series is just not for me. It's for people. Because somebody must be reading it because there's over 20 books in the series, but it's not for me. So we're going to end this journey here. I did DNF it and gave it 2 stars because I got a good chunk out of this book. It's just, I can't get into it. The first one, I could see it. The second one, okay. After that, you started losing me. But again, I bought 5 of these books. And so I felt like I needed to give it a good shot. 5 books in a series is a good shot for me. So if you love this series, I love it for you. It's just not for me. For these next few, like I said, I hit a weird reading slump. So I have some notes. Why are y'all crickets? I have some notes from the books because I should read a bunch of novellas. For me personally, if I'm hitting a slump, I have to read a novella. Novellas to me are good palate cleansers. They get you back reading. They get you intrigued. So I like to read them to just get my mind going. And I read a rack of them. So the first one, the first one that I read is Ankle Snatcher. That was by Grady Hendrix. What was that? What even was that? 2 stars. I don't even have anything to say about it because it wasn't even worth talking about. Trick or Treat. Nothing but smut. Like, that's it. If you're looking for a good, spicy Halloween novella, I feel like is great for that. I just really didn't understand. Like, it was going like one direction and then it like went all the way left. I don't know. I love a good spicy novella. Y'all know Octavia Grant is my girl. So she's helped me like really get into that dark thriller, spicy novella vibe. But this one just wasn't for me. 2 stars. But again, I was coming off of a slump. So maybe if I wasn't in a slump, I would have enjoyed it more. I don't know. But at this moment, it was a 2-star read for me. And then we had The Perfect Setup. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't even know what that book was about. I don't remember anything about it. I do remember the girl was very annoying to me. Like the female main character, I just couldn't get into her. And then I remember the ending was just like, meh. I don't remember anything about that book. 2 stars. Last year, I fell in love with, I'll put it up here. It was like the Valentine's Day novellas from multiple authors. I fell in love with those novellas, read all of them. I wanted them to make like one of those for like every holiday. I think it's such a cute idea, especially for like people that want to check out a certain author. For those that don't know those authors, want to check out their writing style, like it's a good introduction to each of those authors. Their winter collection, I did not enjoy. So 2 stars for all of them, but the Allie Hazelwood one, 4 stars. But maybe I just like Allie Hazelwood's writing. I don't know. The Tessa Bailey one wasn't even good either. And I typically like her novellas. Like her last Christmas novella, I loved. But this one, so the Mistletoe collection, I would skip that one. If y'all are looking for some really cute wintry novellas, Valentine's Day is coming up. I would read that Valentine's Day collection. This one, you can go ahead and skip that. Maybe read Allie's, and that's it. And so later in the month, y'all, now we're getting into the 3 stars. I had to get my girl Octavia Grant because, like I said, she can get me out of a slump. So I picked up her book, Nasty. And it was nasty. I mean, which is on par for her books, which is why I love them. She's like one of my new favorite authors, but whatever. So this book was a little bit different. It was a novella, but it was like interconnected little short stories that like intertwined together. It was a decent time. It was a good time. It was a spicy time. It was a crazy time. Y'all know I enjoyed it. If you haven't checked out Octavia Grant, what are you doing? One of my favorite Black authors, I have to say. Everything she writes, I just eat up. Like, she just gets me out of my slump every time. And then y'all remember how I was supposed to read the first book in this series? I didn't get to it. However, when I was on my little novella kick, I saw that the two novellas, one is after this one and then one is after the first book. I read those, and I would say you don't need to read these to understand those. I mean, there are probably characters that are in these books, but they were very easy to follow, very spicy, very cute. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I liked one more than the other. Very quick reads. I mean, very short stories. It was a good time. So it really does get me intrigued to actually get into these. There's just not enough time for the day. I'm telling you, next year I gotta do better. I have all these Christmas books. I know I said this last year, I'm not buying a single Christmas book. Now, I am thinking about doing a video where I'm doing like Christmas in July, where I read a bunch of Christmas books and tell y'all which books to prepare to read in December. So maybe I will do that, and that could help me get my December TBR down. But I can't believe I listened to those 2 audiobooks and haven't even started the series yet. Like, that just lets you know I was just going through it. I was just going through a time. Listen to Do Not Disturb by Frida McFadden. Now, I will say, this was not my favorite by her, but it did what I needed to do, and that was to be a quick thriller, a good listen, a good audiobook while I ran my errands and such. This one was, you know, it's Frida McFadden, so you know you're going to be in a wild ride. So this one was definitely wild. It was about this woman who committed a crime. I'm not going to tell you what crime. She committed a crime and was on the run, and you're sitting here trying to piece together what happened, what actually happened. Is she a good person, a bad person? Is she responsible for what they say that she did? All these different things. It's crazy. And the ending was wild. So, yeah, Frida, she kept true with her, you know, crazy endings and crazy characters and all the things. It was definitely intriguing. It wasn't the worst Frida that I've listened to. I think that's still One by One, I think it was. I don't know. But it was a good time. It was a fun listen. It keeps you guessing, like you're just really immersed into the story. I love Frida McFadden's thrillers. I don't care how much hate she gets on Facebook. If you be hating off Frida, get off my girl's back, okay? She writes for the people, and the people is me. Because when I want a mindless thriller, she just gets me in it. It's not hard to like get into her books. They're not hard to follow. All the praises. I still haven't read her best series. I'm telling you, 2025, we got to get into these books. Did read a book from our physical TBR finally. I was in my thriller era after listening to that Frida McFadden book. So we did pick up Things We Do in the Dark, which was my first Jennifer Hiller book. I got this from Book of the Month in 2022, people. 2022. So again, we're trying to get these books out of the house. This book was pretty good. Now, I will say, because of being a mother, I had to switch from the physical book, and I did read a bunch of it on KU. So I kind of did half physical, half KU. But I've had this book for so long, like, I didn't really care that I didn't finish reading the physical copy. As long as I was reading it, it was fine. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. 3 stars again, but that's because the ending, I was like, a little predictable. Now, I will say, when it comes to thrillers, I feel like I'm reading more and more. I typically am not a good predictor when it comes to thrillers. I don't know, but this one I was able to predict, so that's the only issue that I had with it, but it did keep me on my toes. So this book was about a woman named Paris. Now, Paris is married to a celebrity husband who turns up dead when she comes back from her trip in Canada. Now, Paris has an interesting life, and this book kind of goes back and forth where you see what happened to her in the past and then what's going on in the present. And her life, you know, just sucked. So she really tried to like reinvent herself, reinvent her life, and it kind of goes through all of that. This book was good, y'all. I'm telling you, it's just a good all-around thriller. The ending to me was a little predictable and a little messy. I was like, where are we going? But overall, I could not get enough of it. I would definitely even say that this is like a 3.5 star, like closer to the 4 range. It was good. Now, I know it's a little bit older, so maybe that's why people don't talk about it that much, but you definitely need to pick it up because I thoroughly enjoyed it and I can't wait to read more of Jennifer's work. I already have a few other books from her, but this one I was thoroughly impressed with. To end our little 3-star area, I did read Lauren Asher's new Christmas novella. Now, I will say this novella to me was a little bit lengthier than I think of novellas. Novellas to me, I think, are 100 pages or like up to 100 pages. This was definitely longer than that. And unfortunately, it felt that long. Actually, my first Lauren Asher book. As you can see, I do have her, like, I would say her most popular series. I just haven't gotten into it. I did try to start this one, and for some reason I just couldn't get into it. But everybody swears by it, so I'm gonna really give it a good chance when I feel like I can give it a good chance. If you're a fan of her Lakefront series, the novella does take place in Lake Wisteria, I believe that is called. So obviously everybody was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get back into this world, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it had a cute cover. I was sold. I love me a good gingerbread house, okay? So this book is about a girl named Catalina, I think you call her, and her sister is getting married to her ex. So as she prepares and she's supposed to be getting excited for her sister to, you know, get married to this man, all these different things, she realizes she has to be around his best friend. And his best friend, like, she's not even worried about the ex. Like, that situation already gets on her nerves, but his best friend, the best man, really gets on her nerves. And you are seeing that he's trying to present himself in a new light to her because, you know, enemies to lovers, you know how that goes. So he's trying to like present himself in this new way, and she's not buying it. I'm not gonna lie to you, she's probably the reason why I really didn't like this book that much. I mean, she got on my nerves. She was insufferable. She was miserable. I couldn't get past it. And unfortunate for the book, like, I was already in a slump, so her being in her bad mood and being rude and moody just didn't sit right with me. So 3 stars. If you're looking for, again, a cute December read, a cute Christmas read, I would check it out. It wasn't bad. It was just way lengthier than I thought it needed to be for a Christmas novella. And also, she could have been a little bit nicer. Like, why are you so miserable? There's no need for you to be that rude. And I forgot to mention, I did read that book on KU. So December Darling is on KU. But this next book is what I really want you to focus on. Because, not that little spoiler, I'm reading Binding 13. But that's not what we're talking about. We're going to talk about my 2 5-star reads. Yes, we had 2 5-star reads in January. And I got caught up in the Windy City series. I couldn't think what it was called. The Windy City series. I got caught up. I finally read Play Along. And y'all, this series, I didn't realize I rated every single book 5 stars. And people be talking trash about the first book. Y'all are crazy. I love every single book. And I don't even own them. And I'm wondering if I should buy them. Because I do love the covers. The last one is coming out, and I'm so excited for it, and I enjoy every single one. Y'all, so Play Along is about Isaiah and Kennedy, and it is a fake marriage of convenience story, and it is absolutely the cutest thing. Every time I read, like, a character in the story, I think that I love the men. Like, I'm like, okay, that's the one. I love that one. And then I read the next one, I'm like, oh no, that's the one. And now I'm like, Isaiah, you can't get no better than him. Ryan Shea who? Ryan Shea who? Isaiah really won me over in this book. I mean, this book is gut-wrenching sometimes when you think about it. Isaiah is such a deep character. I think when you read the other books, like, we're not really going to get into, like, I really want y'all to experience, like, you have to experience the whole series. But Isaiah, when you're reading the other books, he's just like the jokester, the funny one. Like, he always has it together. But this book really got into his soul and explained why he is the way he is. And it talks about grief, and it talks about all these hard feelings and all these hard things that you have to deal with. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like, I cannot express how much I enjoyed that series. And I don't know, like Kennedy, I really liked her, but I think for the Wendy Cindy, I think for this series, the men just steal the show for me. Like, book boyfriends, all of them could be my boyfriend. Like, I can't say enough about that series. I absolutely loved it. If you're unfamiliar with that series, Kennedy is the athletic trainer for Isaiah's team, and without giving too much away, throughout that series you see he is like in love with her. But Isaiah, you know, he's known to be a little jokester, a little playboy, you know what I mean? Like, he don't really take relationships serious. But then when he realized Kennedy ain't got that engagement ring on her finger no more, oh my God, y'all, it's so good. I think, like, as soon as that other book comes out, A, I think I'm gonna buy the series, and B, I think I'm gonna, like, read it right away, because, and I don't even want the series to end, which is crazy. Like, I've never felt that way about a series. I don't know how many series I've really finished so far, but whatever. Like, I can't get enough of that series. Like, and she said something like, covers like that they have, I'll put them on the screen. I love the covers. She's talking about something like they're being discontinued or something, so I need to hurry up and buy those books. Now, I don't usually keep books. Like, I usually read them, get rid of them, give them away, little libraries, whatever, used bookstore. But that series just leaves, like, it lives rent-free in my head. I might have to bite the bullet and just go ahead and buy it. Last but not least, I would say I didn't do those 5 stars in an order. Like, I would say these are, like, tied, because they both pleasantly surprised me. However, this one, I wasn't even, like, really, it wasn't even on my radar, right? So I bought this book, Heart Trick, a long time ago. I don't even remember where like, when people say books are good, I just add them on my Amazon cart. I think someone might have bought it for me off my Amazon wish list, which I'm always appreciative of people that do. You don't have to buy me anything, I'm just saying. But I was just wanting a quick read. I saw it was like super short. It's literally 178 pages. Actually, it might be shorter than that. Yeah, it's 165 pages. Y'all know I love me a good black cover with pops of color, so I was intrigued by that. Y'all, this book was so good. It's a hockey romance, enemies to lovers, fake dating, lots of spice, and it is a part of a novella series that's interconnected, standalone, so you don't have to read all of them to, like, understand them. I'm hooked. I haven't checked out the other ones because I want to space it out a little bit. But oh my gosh, it was such a pleasant surprise. Like, I was so shocked. So this book is about Cassidy, and Cassidy lives in this apartment. And Cassidy just got, like, basically cheated on. Like, Cassidy is going through it when it comes with relationships. She can't understand why guys just don't take her serious. And she wants to know what she can do to improve herself, because she's now, because of guys and how they're doing her perception of herself is now flawed. So she wants to know what she can do to help herself be better in relationships so that she can keep a guy, basically. And then you have Mr. Ward. Okay, so Trenton Ward, he plays for a hockey team, you know, NHL. And he got traded from his last team because his teammate was cheating with his girlfriend. Like, he found out his girlfriend was cheating with one of his teammates, and they traded him. I guess because he's like an older star and the other guy was younger or whatever. So he's in this new town. He gets this apartment. What do you need a house for, you know, when you're traveling all the time? And she meets him and she thinks he's so rude. Oh, he's just, oh, I can't stand him. So they start like hating each other. But she's an author, and she starts using some of these bits and pieces as content creation. Instantly goes viral, and I'm not going to tell you anything else. Oh my gosh. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with him. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I love like these sports guys that are just pining after these girls. I don't know. But man, I ate it up. I don't even care about hockey. I don't even like hockey like that. This, she had his jersey on, made me want to wear a jersey. I'm telling you, y'all. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So, again, Playing Along is on KU. This one is on Amazon. I don't know if it's on KU. No, I'm pretty sure it is on KU because I looked to see the other novellas and they're on KU. So, Heart Trick, make sure you check it out. Check out Play Along. And then that is all for my wrap up. Like, oh my gosh. We had some really, really bangers this month. I thoroughly enjoyed reading. I had some misses, I had some hits, but 2 5-stars in January, like, it's crazy. And a little tidbit, I am reading Binding 13. And I was going to vlog it, but this book is taking me some time. You know, she thick. But yeah, we'll probably do a video talking about this, but that's all I have for y'all today, y'all. And I'm so excited to see what we can read this year, and I'm thoroughly excited to keep reading. So let me know what your favorite read was of January. I'll see y'all next time.